Welcome to Fyght Talk. My name is Christian Young. Hello. So for today's episode, what we're doing is something that's a little bit different. I'm not just going to be speaking with one guest. I'm going to be speaking with multiple guests, all on the topics of questions, decisions, and choices that you make for your business while also trying to maintain balance. I felt as though this was a fairly robust topic, and it would be really good to get different perspectives from different entrepreneurs who are all at different phases of their business development. So let's talk a little bit around finding balance. One of the things that is very clear as an entrepreneur is there are a lot of questions and decisions and choices and all these things that you have to kind of sort through on a consistent basis. And it's kind of done in an environment or in an uncontrolled environment. How do you maintain your mental health or balance, however you'd like to term it?
So I'd say I'm pretty organized and schedule based. So first of the month, pay all my bills. I do all of my, month end close, quarter close, reconciliation, do all my finances in the beginning of the month. So I'm not, even though checks may not post until when they're due, I know I do the actual process at the beginning of the month. And then, so just kind of that routine. I would say I'm not really an evening working person. I need that time to decompress, and that could be taking a walk, could be spending time with friends. I do my kind of business operations on the weekends. Mm-hmm. So Saturday morning, Sunday morning, have that in place. Again, that's just part of a routine. Because I found out when I first started the business, I was all over the place, and the routine has really helped me focus.
How do you establish effective boundaries as an entrepreneur? Because I know that for a lot of us, there's this kind of thought that we're just out here, we can work from like 2 to 2:30, and, we may work from home or a coffee shop or, like a WeWork, something like that. And it can give the perspective of like, just like this freewheeling, for a lack of a better term. And I hate to say this, but like this freewheeling hippie with no job mm-hmm. that, just says that they have their own business. How do you enact the appropriate boundaries to kind of make sure that your business is treated like a business?
Yeah. So I try to maintain a standard set of working hours, pretty much 8 to 5, 8 to 6, Monday through Friday. Now, some Fridays I may, finish up a little early, but that's really my time that I'm focused on clients is during quote unquote normal business hours. And then the time, as I said, the time focused on running my business and business operations, it's on the weekends. So it's not a 9 to 5 job. Because I've told folks who are interested in going into business consulting, I said, you have your 9 to 5 job and you have your 5 to 9 job. Mm-hmm. Your 9 to 5 is client, your 5 to 9 is business operations. And that's in a big firm. And so I've taken that 5 to 9, kind of reduced it down a little bit mm-hmm. and put it on, Saturday and Sunday mornings.
And so one of the things that is like when you work in corporate America or for not even just corporate America, when you work for someone else, mm-hmm. a lot of times there is, an HR department mm-hmm. or you may have like wellness services or things like that. What do you do when you get like that feeling that inevitably every entrepreneur gets of being like slightly overwhelmed or anxious about the future?
So I kind of live in a constant state of anxiety and uncertainty. And part of that's my nature. Part of that is the nature of entrepreneurship. I'd say walking for me clears the head. As an entrepreneur, it is, and like a sole proprietor where I'm at right now, it is all on you. The balance is walking, decompressing, talking with other entrepreneurs to understand what they're going through. It doesn't sound very exciting, but
it's your process. It doesn't have to sound exciting.
Yeah. That's really it. I hope that is a good enough answer for your question.
It answers my question. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
So one of the biggest parts of having a business is making sure that you're okay up here or in here, however you want to term it. But I really believe that finding balance is the key to being, and whatever that balance means. It could be fit, it could be whatever, but is really a key to being a successful entrepreneur. Because if you cannot keep your mental health and physical health together, you will have a slight issues with operating your company. And so I wanted to ask you, how do you balance your mental health with all of the other demands of running a business, running a family business, dealing with having your product in almost 4 retailers, and continuing to grow and learn?
I think finding balance is truly the key to entrepreneurship. I am an avid reader. I love, love, love discovering new things. I love, love, love books. Now that I'm almost 60 though, so I'm doing like books on tape. So I listen more than I actually read, but I still enjoy reading. I love the books. Balancing is truly the goal. You are not going to be balanced all the time. But most of the time, if you can manage to take care of your health, which is number one, I get up, I go work out. I get to the gym at least 4 to 5 times a week. And my husband's like, how are you running to the gym? And I'm going to the gym so you can live. Because if anybody goes, you're first. You know that.
I love we'll put that part out just in case.
Yes. But it's balancing your body, your mind, your nutrition, your health, your relationships. All of that comes into who you are as a person. And again, I tell people 80-20. If 80% of the time I can feel great, do what I need to do, get to the gym, make sure, I'm kissing my husband and smooching up my grandbabies, then life is good. And then I can handle that other 20% that is not quite what I need it to be. Or if I need to go get that cheeseburger, that 20% of the time, I done did my workouts, I'm good. I'm good. But it truly is a balance, and understanding ourselves. Know thyself first. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses. And if you don't, you got to find out real fast, because entrepreneurship will show you who you are. And it ain't pretty some days.
Yeah, I was like, I noticed that, and it wasn't even an entrepreneurship. I think my corporate life kind of gave me that fairly quickly, because, when stress is high, sometimes the behaviors are low.
Yes.
And that is what I found to be a challenge, because, entrepreneurship it's all technically on you.
Oh, yeah.
After a while. And being able to manage through that whole concept of like, this is all on me.
Yeah.
Let me not walk in here fire and brimstone because something is not going right.
Yes. And my people know, my family like, she is on a rampage. Y'all go over there. But that happens. I mean, this is real life. It's not like we're doing a dress rehearsal. You get one life. And so I really strive to do it right. I really strive to improve myself. I really strive to listen to daily devotionals. I really strive to eat healthier. I really strive to work out, to know who my favorite people in the world are and spend time with them. Spend time giggling and laughing and watching movies, and not just always be super stressed about what has to happen. In this entrepreneur journey, I have found that when you step away from, I got to be the CEO, I've got to get this done, I'm stressed at that, and you allow yourself time to breathe, to woosah, to laugh, to read, to enjoy the people around you, you are a better CEO because you're not breathing fire and brimstone.
True. I think that is one of the things that, like that reading piece, that continual education has to happen, because when you're essentially kind of like by yourself or in this like world in which you have created, it gets really easy to forget.
Yes.
To forget the feelings of other people, to forget, that they didn't go to sleep and wake up dreaming of this business and deciding like, oh my goodness, we're going to do this today. And, they don't necessarily, get that concept all the time. And part of being a leader is working with people to help to find common understanding.
Yes.
So to that point, how has your network of, every entrepreneur, I feel like, has a network of other entrepreneurs that they know, that they fellowship with, that they call when in times of additional needs for education. How has that network helped you in finding balance, maintaining balance, just feeling like you're normal?
Yes. Without the people that you surround yourself with, without your network, life gets real lonely real fast. So for me, I'm in a mastermind with Nabo. I take monthly EYEAN strategic videos or webinars. I'm heading out on a spiritual retreat next week, getting away for 5 days with Let the Mountains Move Ministries, because I know I need that. We talk about balance. We have to have it. You have to figure it out. And I read somewhere that you can't grow a company unless you grow yourself. You have to grow yourself at least twice as fast as you're trying to grow this business. So in growing yourself, you got to figure out what makes you work, what makes you happy, what makes you tick, what makes you get up in the morning. And so I have truly found that with entrepreneurship, with building Miss P's gluten-free, I'm building Lisa Marsh. I'm building my best version of who I am. And I want to display that for the world, and especially for the people who are closest to me. Because I find myself sometimes being stressed, and I'm screaming at the grandbabies, and I'm throwing stuff at the husband, and that doesn't work for anybody. So at that point, I'm like, let me go take a nap. I need a nap. I need a nap. I need some food.
Naps do solve a lot of things.
A lot of things.
Naps solve a lot.
It's just finding who you are and sticking to it, and then just getting better every day. Every day.
And one last question.
Yes.
How would you advise the entrepreneur who feels like they have to be fully grown before they can get started?
No, baby. You do not have to be, what is the term? You do not have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. And I think Les Brown put that out there. I started this and I had no money, no retail experience, and no followers. I didn't even touch social media until I retired from the Bureau of Prisons. And I touched social media like January 2018. And I was a little behind the ball, let me tell you. But you learn along the way. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody's asking for perfect. There was one perfect person. Look what they did to him. So You just got to get started. Put one foot in front of the other and just keep moving. Just keep moving forward. And before you know it, you will have built what you set out to do, and you will be a better person for it. And you will bring something wonderful to the world. And we all want that.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to get the serious face out of the way currently, because I feel like we have on our serious face.
We do.
For a serious matter. No, today we're going to talk a bit about balance. And the reason why I thought that this topic was important is because when you're an entrepreneur, you have all of these questions and decisions and choices that you have to make in an effort to develop what is your business. And I think that it's probably underestimated the amount of effort we have to put behind making sure that our mental health is in a good space.
Yeah.
And you have the added benefit of being a parapreneur. So you're running parallel path. You have a career full time in corporate America, and you also have multiple businesses.
Weird.
Yeah. It does seem surreal when you start thinking about, like, I have multiple businesses. Like, how does this work? But how do you, I don't want to necessarily say balance, but how do you make things fit for you?
One of my favorite professors, like, I feel like everyone's had this like version of this story where they're like, you have balls and you're juggling balls in the air, and then, or they're glass jars or whatever. And like, you have to basically prioritize which one you're going to catch and which ones you're going to let fall. And those change depending on the day, the time, the month, the year, and what you're doing. And so I think same, right? Like, some days it's the one business, some days it's work, because that's what pays my bills currently, like, to live where I live. Some days it's like, I'm not going to be able to, you know, go out tonight, even though I had plans, because I need to get this done. Or some days it's, I need to spend time with my family. So unfortunately, this is going to have to go on the back burner. So I think you just, I don't know, I should say I take it one day at a time. I do my best to prioritize the things that are going to be really important for this time and season, and then try to be kind to myself. It doesn't always work. When things don't work out the way maybe you thought they would, or when you have to put some things down that you didn't want to.
And how do you manage the pacing? And when I ask about the pacing, it's more like when you have competing priorities.
Yeah.
There is an impact to how long things take to happen.
Yeah.
And I know that from an entrepreneurial perspective, especially in today's business environments, there's this overwhelming thought that, like, it all happens like that. Like, you know, I got whatever these little bootstrap situations are, and, you know, I got all the right vendors. I made sure my money was together. And so everything should start happening immediately. The train is leaving the station.
Yeah.
How do you manage your thoughts on the pacing of everything, particularly with your businesses?
I'm going to do the consulting thing and say probably like 3 ways. One is, I think, what is the phrase? Like, comparison is a thief of joy. And so I think what my pace is not what your pace is not what so-and-so's pace is. And so I think it's really important, again, going back to understanding what it is, what you are trying to do, what that looks like, is important, because like you said, somebody may have one business that they're putting their all into and they're trying to grow. Someone may have multiple businesses. It just depends. So I think that's really key, is to just center on what it is you're trying to do every day. I will get up on my good days, and I will like meditate, and I will journal, and I will write out my plan for the day, and I will read my little like business books, just to like center. And then I try and work out just to like get myself to that place, right? Where it's like, okay, this is what we're doing today. Having a clear plan for what that looks like works for me, doesn't work for everybody. And so I can like cross them off. So I think that's 1 or maybe 2 ways. I think you asked, basically, refresh me on the question.
How do you manage see, I got so absorbed, I almost forgot myself. But it's okay.
What's the question again?
No, like, how do you manage the pacing? Like, and I'll give an example for me. Like, I like to call my initial milestones my best estimate. Like, this is when I think it should happen, but I have noted, as with everything, that those milestones change. Like, X didn't, like, I'm really into like, okay, this is the milestone. So all of these things need to happen so that I can reach the milestone. And I'll know fairly quickly, as my chief of staff would probably tell you, that those milestones will change, because 9 times out of 10, I have created a bottleneck for myself, because I'm like, boom, 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 boom. I have planned my day with Superman level precision. Like, I should be able to accomplish these 92 things immediately. Yeah. And I don't like beat myself up if I don't accomplish them, but I've noted that it does impact my pace, because the tendency to like plan your day, load your day as though you're going to perform at your best all the days. Yeah. It can kind of mess with you a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I'm the opposite, like a soul underachiever for sure. Like, I'm like, this 2 things, and like, that's it. Like, it's gonna, and like, that's probably the, like, I am the research again, flip it over, look at it, talk to people, I don't know, research some more. I still don't know. Let me look around. Let me like, and so I think the byproduct of that is I am like, today I will email the contractor. Yay. Like, success. And that's it. Right. And some, I think that comes from the fact that we are similar, and that I know that I can beat myself up if I don't get things done. And so my answer to that is to like like, I could probably get 5 things done today, but I'm going to get this 1 thing done today. For better or worse. Right.
And how do you manage? This is another one, which I always think about, because when I first started out, I was also parapreneuring. Yeah. So how do you manage, and I'm going to just call it the fear. How do you manage the fear of, thinking about what life looks like? Yeah. If the career side, the formal career side, goes away?
I am going to say therapy. I don't know.
Therapy's like, important.
I think we all, well, I will speak for myself. It is a fear. Some people have, like, the family that I work with is a completely different personality than me. She is like, jump off the bridge and I'll figure out where the parachute is. And I'm like, I need a parachute, a backup parachute. Also, if you could like disperse parachutes like along the way, so that in case these 5 don't work, like, I would like to be able to grab one of those. And like, that is not, unfortunately, not how life works all the time.
I found that out about you when I found out you had an earthquake kit.
I do. I have 2. One is in my car. That's from living in California. You can't just, and you need to have like bottled water. Okay. Because if the water goes out, what you gonna do? Can't boil it. But anyway, all of that to be said, like, I think that entrepreneurship, the path of entrepreneurship, is different for everybody. And for me, it was, maybe things take a little bit longer because I'm not going to jump off the roof. But I'm okay with that. And so I think it's centering, again, going back to, I can't compare my journey to like yours or my mom's, who's just like, it'll work itself out. And I'm like, shivering in the corner with that philosophy. So I think that's important.
Okay. Thank you for your insight.
Yes, thank you.
So we're going to talk a little bit around balance. And I've been asking questions, kind of across all of my guests on balance, because, with all of the things that you have to do with being an entrepreneur, also you have the added benefit of being a mother.
Yes.
So, I call him our coworker.
For
sure. So, and then also trying to be an all-in entrepreneur. And that's a little different. So you have your business and that's, there's no corporate job or anything like that supporting it. It's really kind of based on your efforts. How do you maintain, for a lack of a better term, sanity?
That, like, you asked a very good question because I think many people face this. I struggled a lot around this area because being a mom, I was, and then starting a business from scratch, making a decision that I'm not going to go back to my corporate job, I'm not going to look for it, and then having satisfied with that decision that I'm not going to get paid on a monthly basis, like fixed rate that, oh, boom, in my bank account, basically. And variations of income coming in and then sometimes not coming in at all. Me trying to balance my personal life and professional life, and all these areas were coming at me and then having me second thought my decision of being an entrepreneur initially. I'm like, maybe I just rushed into it. I'm not right now ready for it. And things like that came into my mind various times, not just once. Like every month when I was doing my invoicing to my clients, and I'm like, it's not working because it's just, see, it's frankly it's hard to just, okay, I'm having this like 6 figures income, and then I'm like starting from where I'm like, I'm 5 years behind of everything. It was very frightening for me. But then I believed in myself. I believed in my dream as well. So even though I struggled, I just took one day at a time kind of a approach where I was like, okay, what needs to be done? I am a planner, of course, where I'm like, I have to have an idea around what I'm going to do, like from the beginning. Like, so I'm going to have my weekly planner. I'm going to have my milestones. I struggle with planning it in a way where I'm like, okay, I'm going to be super energetic and I'm going to complete all these things in a day. And then I'm going to go from there. I'm going to conquer the world in few months, things like that.
Superman to-do list.
Yes, Superman to-do list. You can call it that, of course. And then it was such a learning process for me where I'm like, okay, this isn't working, but how about this? Like exploring different balances. It's not gonna be, and that's when I realized that it's never going to be 50-50 or 80-20 or things like that. You always have to be flexible around it, knowing that what is important. Your personal life is important, your professional life is as important as your personal life as well. For example, I felt guilty that just because I was struggling with my professional life, I'm like, I was so into it as like creating a structure where I'm like, even if my son comes in and I'm like, I cannot give you the time right now. Like, of course, and then I feel guilty right away. And then I'm going to be like, okay, I can do this afterwards. Like, I have to register my business. I can do it tomorrow. Let me just give him some time right now. And then like 2 hours just like that I've spent with him. And then I didn't focus on my business goals and things like that. So those things where I really had to put time in, it took me such a long time, like at least a quarter, just to get used to with new me, new business environment. And of course, like, because sometimes you work from home as well, and that's a challenge, right? And just to be flexible around it, make sure that even your family understands that now you have in a different career than before, where you cannot just take a day off and then be like, yeah, I'm gonna give you some time kind of a situation. It's a 24/7 kind of a situation here with establishing a new business. So those navigations were also there. But I think when you constantly try to organize yourself, it comes. Eventually, it will take time. You cannot, I think I'm going to be a philosopher right now, but I'm just going to say it out, that do not expect that you can change your entire being in a day or in a week or in a month. You cannot. Of course, I tried my best to do that. But then, as I said, I have some good people around me who hold me and then who believed in me that of course, I'm going to have my own struggles and my own learning. I'll get to that point where I'm gonna realize that how to go about doing this. And I actually wondered that I'm a business consultant. I know what needs to be done. Some people don't even know the roadmap. I at least know some of it, right? I'm not claiming that I know everything, but of course that about business consulting I know. So, and still I was struggling, which led me to think about the consequences of my decisions and how one decision can lead to another decision or a disaster, and manage.
But then I think that one of the things that would be good for you to share, because I have witnessed this evolution, and I think that as entrepreneurs, we all have to kind of come to this phase where we learn how to give ourselves grace. And so, what is the biggest thing that you've learned about giving yourself grace?
Okay, I'm still learning, to be really honest about this. I still think that I cannot make a mistake, which shouldn't be the case. I'm telling you that it shouldn't be the case. You should allow yourself to make mistakes. And sometimes I feel like I could be forgiven for anyone, no matter who they are, but to myself. That, okay, how could Brenda do this? And I'm still learning. But what I've started doing is I've started praising myself for the good things that I do. And if I just talk about my business only, for example, I started with bookkeeping only, right? But then when I had the discussion with my clients and I knew that what they need as well, I started providing more services. For example, I started providing payroll services to them. I started providing administrative staff services to them, where I basically find administrative staff from international platforms, for example, India, that could do their daily administrative work for them in a better pricing, basically, with no contractual agreement as such, like that they have to give them some type of benefits or things like that. Of course, then there's going to be a contract in terms of confidentiality and privacy and things like that are there. But apart from that, they don't have to worry about anything, finding the right person for them. I can do that. I provide the consultation to them, where like, okay, this is how they are going to work, and then having regular check-ins with them. And I felt proud about it, that I was providing solutions.
So it sounds as though part of you learning to give yourself grace was kind of building on areas where you started to feel more confident.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I still think that you need to continue to practice giving yourself grace, because it's, even though you are a superhero, even superheroes need naps sometimes.
And I completely agree with you on that. And that's why I said what I said, that I'm still learning. I don't know why I have that complex about me, that I cannot make mistake. And even if I make a single mistake, it's a big deal for me, that I'm gonna be thinking about it for at least couple of days, and it's a process. So I'm acknowledging it right now, and I'm working on it, and I know that, like other things, it's gonna work around. It's gonna work out.
What do you do when things become too overwhelming?
First, I take a deep breath. Sometimes no, I just call right away to someone and like, I'm freaked out. Then I'm gonna talk it out, and while I talk to them, I'm gonna get the answers to my problems by myself, because I'm talking to someone. Like I called you today morning. That, hey Christian, I know this is what it is, but then this is my disaster of the day. So, and then I started talking. I'm like, yeah, I can do this as well. I can do that as well. And then I'm going to figure it out. And I was calm. So yes, there are days where I don't follow a one-stop approach where this is what Brinda needs to do. Sometimes I just need to eat sugary foods just to calm myself down. Sometimes I just need to take a break, that okay, not right now because I have other important things to do, and I'm going to think about it afterwards. Like I strictly have to do that because sometimes that's the situation demands, right? So that's the approach. Sometimes just to take it easy, that this happened and it cannot be fixed, but it can be handled.
Yes. So by not adopting a sky is falling mentality.
Yes, for sure.
which is what we talk about sometimes, is just making sure, like, I think that one of the favorite comments is always like, did anyone pass away?
That is so true.
And once we determine that didn't occur, then we're pretty good to go.